We are doing this episode shortly around the weekend of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and both of us were incredibly young to the point of we barely have memories of like exactly what our day was, in that it was barely different from any other day in like preschool, kindergarten, whatever that year was, right? Maybe the adults were acting a little bit weirder. My pet goat
I mean, I
shut up in the
remember.
trunks.
I definitely remember it happening and everything, and like trying to comprehend it. But the only issue was just, yeah, we were quite young. Like I was in, we were in. If you were in kindergarten, I'm not sure your situation, but for me, I was in kindergarten, and I remember all of that, which is crazy. And
Yeah.
there's people who are making millions of dollars who were born after 9/11, and they had to be taught 9/11 in school, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, there are people who are born after me who are teaching 9/11 history, which is that's fine. I'm not going to be like a curmudgeon about it, but also they weren't born that far after me, and a lot of the stuff they're getting is wrong. But again, this is not the podcast for that. I didn't even do a power report about that. I think I'll revisit that another time because there are sources out there that are doing a really good job that are easily accessible. But the music related aspect to this is, and that's relating to history, is that in memorandum of September 11th, Clear Channel, which is currently known as iHeartMedia, so they're iHeartRadio, etc. They're a major radio distribution channel, essentially the only one because that's the state of radio at this point. Sirius XM is satellite radio; it's a slightly different beast, but they released um, suggestions that they sent out to their 1,100 radio stations across the United States of what songs could have potentially, quote, lyrically questionable lyrics, meaning that the words could be triggering to, folks during like, in the wake of 9/11. And I want to note that this was not, Sean, honestly, Sean, this was not called cancel culture. This was not called invasion of free speech. This was a company that was kind of taking a directive from a Republican-led government and establishment to censor these things. And then to get into, Sean, what you're saying is the list is kind of ridiculous.
So first off, the ones that made me die were REM's "It's the End of the World as We Know It." I just started dying when I saw that.
Before the bodies are even cold.
Another one is Queen. Another one, Bites the Dust.
Yeah, no, that one made me laugh too. Bob Dylan's knocking on heaven's door. Filters, "Hey man, nice shot." Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters.
U2, Sunday Bloody Sunday. We got this clip. Jesus.
Oh man. Speed Kills by Bush.
Why is that in Deutsche Luftballons in here? It's in German, assholes.
There's a whole list of AC/DC songs from Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap to Highway to Hell to TNT to Shot Down in Flames to Shoot to Thrill to Safe in New York City.
Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah, so yeah, some of these
literally no, but the best part of this whole list, if you go to Rage Against the Machine, it just says dash all songs. The entire discography of Rage Against the Machine. Everything.
Blanket everything.
It's like a Harry Potter where they get the sorting hat and it's like extreme Slytherin. Doesn't even touch Malfoy's head, it just a Slytherin. It's like that.
John Lennon's Imagine was also banned because forbid that we actually, God, or Allah forbid that we actually show solidarity with people around this time. I was actually going to do a thread about the Ground Zero Mosque, this whole like non-controversy from like 10 years ago, about like a case study in how these non-controversies kind of spin up when it's A, politically convenient for a certain group of people, and B, politically convenient and viciously racist also tend to be hand in hand here. And so like that's a pattern I kind of want to point out in a more political context. I think we wanted to kind of point these out, to have a little bit of levity here as we do on this irreverent podcast, but also kind of point out like that important thing that in society today, there's a lot of talk about what you can and can't say anymore versus like some of these things are like,
Uh-huh.
okay, maybe we don't play a safe in New York right after 9/11, like bad call, right? Not a very good
Yeah,
call.
exactly.
But
Like
like
there's some things where you could do that, but
Rage Against the Machine, that four at that point, like 4 albums, 50 songs were deemed unacceptable because, I mean, obviously because they're very critical of the United States and government and foreign interventions broadly. And that was a time when it's very well documented from the mayoral side in New York City all the
mhm,
way up to the vice presidency. People
Lord.
were very, very eager to go to war, even though there are other people in the administration who were thinking of other avenues to go through with this. And so as 9/11 like kind of kickstarts the war in Afghanistan that is like sort of closing, arguably taking a new chapter, arguably starting a new book, if you will. Um, Maybe you could call that book The Hunger Games if you're talking about the environmental issues there. Um, it's important to contextualize these things and also understand these things like in our context of music, right? Like in our avenue of like this touched everything, this touched every
Yeah,
aspect
I
of
had
society,
everything.
and it's also like nakedly political and like what choices were made here.
If you look closely when Cheney's drinking water, Bush isn't talking.